And, and I'll just tell you now that once recording starts, the system gets a little slower. So I apologize now if it freezes. If it freezes for any reason, if I have to jump off, I will jump right back on.
Oh, great.
So don't hang up.
Wait.
Yeah, don't hang up. I will come back.
Sounds good.
Right.
I'm just grabbing.
Grab a notebook or a piece of paper, a pen, and let's get started. All right, so thank you so much for jumping on. This is the Mastering SEO, Search Engine Optimization. This is a 5-day lunchtime brown bag series that we're going to talk about everything SEO. And today is day 1, and on day 1, we are going to talk about keywords. Now, keywords are really the lifeblood of anything online, right? In order to find anything on the internet, you have to do a search. And those searches, mostly Google and Bing, but there are other search engines also out there, they rely on keywords. They look at what you type into the search box, and then they try to match it up in their database to present with you the answers to your question, or they kind of guess what you're looking for. So the first thing you have to do when you're thinking about keywords is you've got to get into the mind of who are your customers and how, or your prospects, and what would they actually type into a search box to find you, right? So, when you think about, if someone's looking for a restaurant, they don't just type in restaurant, right? They'll type in Italian food. They'll type in, best tacos in Charleston, or, they're more specific than just, I'm looking for tacos. Because if you just do a search for tacos, you're going to get recipes, you're going to get restaurants, you're going to get, all kinds of things. And you, as a taco restaurant, want to be in that top search engine, top search result, but you've got to be more specific, right? You've got to really target who you're looking for. So we've got with us Trey, and he works with a company called Desba. And so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to do some searches and see what would come up for some of the topics that may be part of merchant services. So let me share my screen real quick. Oh, wait for it. We go here. And so if you just go to a Google search and you did credit card processing, right? If you just do credit card processing, for me, and I wanted to say, everyone's search is different, right? Google takes my past search history, what I'm connected to, all of that goes into everyone's search results. Okay, so my search will look different than your search, perhaps. But if you just do credit card processing, 1, 2, 3, 4, the first 4 searches are ads. Those are companies that have paid to be there, right? And so that is Clover, which is a system, WW Credit Card Processing, Gravity Payments, Free Offer Global Payment Source. And then you've got a magazine article from PC Mag. It's fairly recent, June 7th, 2019. But then they have this section that says, people also ask. Now, Google is going more and more to answer questions, and they actually look for websites that answer the questions that people also ask. And so, and I know Desba, we'll look at it in a minute, has an FAQ section. What you want to do is, for these keywords that you think are appropriate for you, one of the things that you want to do is you want to ask these questions, right? What credit card processing is cheapest for small business? What is credit card processing? What is a good credit card processing rate? What is the cheapest way to process credit cards? Right? You want those questions because those are the questions that Google is indicating are the most asked when it comes to credit card processing. You want to make sure that you've got answers to those questions on your site. So for instance, like on this one, they have 12 rows, right? They're going to Merchant Maverick. Notice Merchant Maverick wasn't up here, but Merchant Maverick had the answer to that question, and they're pulling it out. Credit card processing. So they picked up Wikipedia for that one. What's a good processing rate? They did Cardfellow, and that's a blog. Anytime you see a blog showing up high in search results, that's an opportunity for you, because a blog, especially on like I don't know, cardfellow.com, I don't know if that is a really well-known site in the credit card processing world, but a lot of times when a blog shows up, it just means that they have done really well on SEO and that you can do the same and get the same search results. But if you notice, like every time you look at an answer in a question, they'll come up with more questions. So the first thing you want to do is do a search on like credit card processing, merchant services, anything that is in your area of expertise, and look at the questions that Google says are being asked. And then make sure you take some of those questions and put them on your FAQ page. Okay, and we're going to look at DESBA, probably not today, but in the next couple days, about the FAQs. You want to state the FAQs just like this, right? You actually want to ask the question and provide an answer, because that makes it really easy for Google to pick up and use. So let's look at the rest of their top 10. Business News Daily, there's that Merchant Maverick, Vantiv, Gravity Payments again, Total Merchant Services, Fundera, BluePay, credit card processing. Okay, I got a feeling that most of those are fairly national companies, but let's see how the search changes if you do credit card processing in Charleston, SC. Oh, no, I'll go back to that in a second. So you've got Clover, you've got TD, you've got PaySimple. But then you've got the local, all right? So to be on the local map, and I'm surprised that Desba is not here. Trey, do you have a Google My Business account?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because if you were on Google My Business and you had some reviews, you would show up here. Okay. So I'm going to hit more places and see. And we're not going to necessarily talk about it today, but probably on Wednesday, we are going to be talking about Google My Business, or might even be tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not seeing a Google My Business account on here, or you may have a Google My Business account that you're not saying credit card processing in Charleston.
Okay.
Okay, so that is definitely an opportunity for you. So you definitely want to, but let's look at who, so these are the people who should be considered your competition, right?
Right.
So you want to take a look at them, and but we're going to be talking about this, I know, tomorrow. Notice that one of the things that show up in the top 10 search results is Yellow Pages.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, Merchants United, Manta. Because one of the things I'm going to recommend that everyone do is make sure their company is listed in those directories. Okay, a lot of them have a way to get listed for free. Some of them are pretty low cost, but you definitely want to be listed in these directories, because that's where people are also searching. Like here's the BBB. If Linda doesn't have an account with the Better Business Bureau, she might want to consider one.
Okay.
Okay. But the other thing I wanted you to notice is when you do the search up here, we did credit card processing, notice the other searches that come up. Okay. Credit card processing industry, credit card processing information, credit card processing integration. And I don't know if you do much with QuickBooks. I don't know if that is something that Linda specializes in, but this is another way of these. Google is trying to guess what I'm going to search for, so they give you these are things that are being searched.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to, one of the first things you do is you kind of take a little list. Now, what I do, notice down here, I've got a Excel spreadsheet open.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm doing research, I will have an Excel spreadsheet and I will put a keyword, monthly searches, and a competition, which we'll get to in a minute. But I would just be, as I'm doing this, set aside an hour or something to do keyword research. And I would go credit card processing Charleston, credit card processing industry, credit card processing information, integration, just do, because this is giving you ideas of keywords that are being searched, right? Google won't put things in that list unless other people have typed it in.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at merchant services in Charleston. Let's see. Oh, we got a couple different people. We got Gray Line and Charleston Kayak Company. Interesting. Diamond Payment. So there are actually more people using merchant services than there were using credit card processing, which is interesting. But you definitely want to take a look at those services and say, hey, what are they doing here? Diamond Payment. Again, you've got Yellow Pages showing up. You've got Indeed, that's your merchants. Yeah, so I'm really not seeing DESBA show up. So we definitely have, some work to do to get DESBA as part of this mix. Mm-hmm. But again, when you type in merchant services in Charleston, right, some of the things that they kind of guess I might be wanting to type in is merchant services chargeback, merchant services charges, chargeback rules, merchant services Charleston, merchant service charge definition. So again, those are potential keywords that you want to take a look at. Now, the other thing, Google gives you all kinds of, say you can do Charleston or in North Charleston, right? So there are people searching in different ways. But also when you do a search and you're trying to find your keywords, go down to the bottom of the page. Again, they're saying based on your past activity, use this. This one doesn't really have a lot, but sometimes down along the bottom of the page, they will list other searches that Google says seem to be related. Let's see here. See right here, searches related to credit card processing. Okay. So how credit card processing works, credit card processing comparison, credit card processing reviews, credit card processing for small business, no monthly fee. I don't know. Well, the thing is on something like that, because you can see that is a fairly that that gets searched enough for Google to pay attention, you can actually put that on your FAQ, or you can actually put that somewhere like in a blog post or something, and just say why that's not a good idea, right? Why credit card processing for small business with no monthly fee, you're not going to get the quality, you're not,
Right.
so you can always take that people are searching for and use it to your advantage.
Mm.
So, credit card processing business, machine. So these are all ideas of what you can search for, right? Or that it's telling you that people are searching for those kinds of things. All right. So let's see. Well, let me copy this. It won't. Yeah. So what I will do when I am really researching, to create keywords, because what I want to do is I want to create a list of good, solid keywords that I can use in the copy on my website. I can use in the copy on my business description and all the listings and directories everywhere. Anywhere so I have good phrases, searchable phrases that I can use in my business description on my Facebook page and in my LinkedIn profile and in the Lineable and anywhere else. I want to be using good solid phrases. Okay. And so that's where, as I'm doing the research and I'm creating, my spreadsheet, I'm just listing the different kinds of phrases. The next step that you want to do is you want to actually see what phrases are being searched in Google and how much, right? So you're going to go to Google. Now, the Google keyword tool, let's see, there it is. It's part of Google Ads. So you have to have a Google account, which means you have to have a Gmail account, okay? And then you have to set yourself up in Google Ads. Now, there's not enough time to set up a Google account on this. It can take a couple minutes, just to let you know. But once you get into Google Ads, and it will take you to another page. But right up here where it says tools and settings, that's where you're going to find the keyword tool, okay? Right over here, the keyword planner. That's where you're going to want to go, right? So once you get set up a Google Ads account, you're going to go into, you're going to go to the top over here under your tools and settings, and go over to planning and go to the keyword planner.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to get this page. And so, it's like start with keywords. Yes. So you've got enter products or services closely related to your business. This is where you're going to put in the words. And so since I just copied, let me see if it will let me. Obviously not that. I don't know what that is. I don't know, searches. So I've got like how credit card processing works, credit card processing, I just copied from that bottom. Now, obviously you're going to, create your list here and then just copy the list and put it in, okay? But this is for demonstration. So, and include brand names and results. You can leave it on or leave it off. Leave it on if you think some brands in your area get searched a lot. And then there's this option to enter a domain to use as a filter. If you put in, are you desba.com? I don't know what your, desbacorp.com. What it will do is they will, before Google gives you the keywords, it will go to your site and it tries to identify what your services are. And so it will kind of automatically eliminate things that it thinks aren't relevant to you. I usually say at the beginning, leave this blank and just let Google pull whatever from the phrases that you've put in, because you can go through and eliminate things. But I usually say start as wide as possible. The other option that you have is you can start with a website that you could actually put in desmacorp.com and ask Google to go through your site and suggest keywords. Well, if your site hasn't been well optimized, a lot of times when people start here, you will see all kinds of things that it's just picking out phrases from your site that make no sense.
I see.
So start with keywords is usually the better way. So, well, that's an old one. So, and then you can exclude adult ideas. Credit card processing, I don't know how risque that could be. Yeah, whatever.
It's very racy.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, if you don't want those blue sites showing up, you can put stuff. But you can add filters, for different kinds of things. But, you can exclude keywords that you've used before or anything that's being used by competition and that kind of thing. But, usually at the beginning, don't use any filters except with exclude adult. But then you're going to just get results. All right. And so here's what Google is saying that, this is the average monthly searches. Okay. So most of those on that list are between 100 and 1,000 searches, right? But notice it says really high competition.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really want to really focus on high competition. Now, it's fine to use them in like an FAQ, but you don't want to build your whole site around things with high competition, right? So I'm just going to write a couple of these down. It's like, how credit card, let me see what. And if someone can tell me how to do, but this is just plain old ordinary credit card processing, right? That's really generic, and you really don't want to probably use that anyway, because that is too generic. But we'll look at that one. So let's see, is there anyone? Okay, here's one that's a medium. What is this? How credit card processing works. Okay. Again, they all pretty much have, credit card processing, 1,000 to 10,000. Let's see what this one is. I usually like to have, at least 1,000 to the 10,000. The 100 to 1,000, I mean, they're getting some searches, but that's not, but again, you've really got a lot of high competition in here. Here's some medium. Oh, I just saw a low. Where'd it go? What's this? Credit card processing for small business. Okay. That seems like a pretty good one. Here's some medium. PayPal, credit card processing. What's it say? Credit card processing services. Okay. Let me see. see any other lows in there? Because I usually look for the lows. Yeah, credit card acquirer, that's probably not necessarily relevant to what you do. What was that one? Clearance? No. That one. Global payment review? No. But anyway, so you spend some time and kind of go through. Let me see what this one is. Credit card payment solutions.
Yes. That is a good one.
Yep, I like that one. And that's low competition. I mean, it's you know, doesn't get a lot of searches, but and we'll look for one more. Let's look at low rate credit card processing. Okay. Yeah, and you keep going. Let me see here. Does it tell us how many? So it has come up with 1,009 keyword ideas. Okay, so you can go page after page after page, you know, and take a look and try to find the ones that are low and medium. But what you want to do is, so you create your list. Okay, so you know you put them in your spreadsheet, and you know, kind of, and I usually encourage people to get a list of about 20. If you can get to about 20, that's usually a pretty good base. Then what you're going to do is, you know, you don't just stop there, because now you want to see when it says it's high competition or low competition, what does that actually mean? So pull up a Google search. Uh-oh, where'd it go? I don't care. All right, hold on. Like it pulled up a blank screen. I don't know why. Let's go back to yeah, you gotta love technology, right?
Oh.
Nope, I want to cancel. I just want the, oh, let me stop the share and come back. Okay. Now, see if I can get back. Well, why won't it take me down?
Excuse me for just one moment.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, sorry, I'm back there.
That's okay. Okay, so you can still see me, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you see my screen or are you seeing me?
Just you right now.
Okay. So that's what I'm trying to get back into SlideShare. Oh. Oh, it signed me out. I don't know why. Sign me back in. Yeah, it's okay. Oh, all right. We may be back now. Okay. Now, do you see my screen?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. So once you have your list of keywords, the next thing you're going to do is go to a Google search and you're going to type in all in title, colon, and then put whatever your keyword phrase is in quotation marks. So let's do credit card processing solutions. Okay, so, ooh, you know what? This is actually a really good keyword. Right here, if you can see right under the headings there, it says about 1,060 results. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is your actual competition. That is how many times in the Google directory is the phrase credit card payment solutions found. Okay, so they have 1,060 instances of that. When you think about the whole entire internet, only having 1,060 results means that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good phrase.
Okay.
Because you will be able to compete for that. Okay, so let's take a look at who is competing for that. You know, Clover's running an ad on it. Okay, BluePay, First Data, Fat Merchant, Payline Data, Chase Payment Tech, Century. If you notice, those are not the same companies that were competing for credit card processing.
Right.
Right? And these are going to be smaller. These are going to be ones that you can't compete. And then you look at, you know, what is the best credit card processing for small business? What is merchant credit card processing? You know, that's a different way to ask that question. But these are also questions. And notice on this particular search, no one came up as far as local, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no map that came up. So let's just kind of take that, let's see, in Charleston. And let's just see. Oh, you know what? There is only one person, there's only one website in Charleston that's using that phrase.
Oh, wow. So that's like a really good one then for us.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely want to use credit card processing solutions. That one's going to be a winner for you. But let's see, what else? I wrote down low rate credit card processing. I don't know if that's something, or credit card processing. Processing for small business. Let's just see. Oh, that one's that one's a good phrase too. If that's something that DESBA wants to hang their hat on, there's only 325 results.
Okay.
Okay. And again, when you look at who is showing up on that that search, it's not the same as the credit card processing, right? And again, you're going to have, you know, this list of things down here of searches, and the people also ask. So you can definitely, you know, how can a small business accept credit cards? That can definitely be on an FAQ, right? What is a good effective rate for credit card processing? You know, they're doing fitsmallbusiness.com, you know, what their answer is, but maybe your answer, you know, is different or better. But so that's kind of the process of go to the keyword planner, put in your, you know, put in some of the phrases, kind of figure out what the competition is, and the ones that are low or medium, then go back into all in title in the quotes and actually see how many times does that phrase show up in the Google directory.
Okay.
And, you know, and so it is a bit of a process, right? But you go and you keep track of, like, if this is 325, go back on your spreadsheet and go, oh, competition 325, you know, and
Right.
just kind of, because then you'll create your list, because then you can kind of weigh which words, you know, have less competition, but they had more searches in Google. And, you know, you can kind of come up with your list of words and phrases to use.
Okay.
Okay. So that is kind of the first step, is do that research and get to a point where you've got some words and phrases that are Google friendly.
Okay.
All right. But then the next thing you've got to do is you've got to go back to your website and insert some of those words and phrases into the website.
Right.
Right.
It's got to have something to call back to.
Exactly. So if you go to DESBA, right?
Yep. DEZB. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we go to DESBA, there she is. So then you want to think about, you know, like credit card payment solutions. Well, is a pretty good phrase, right? So where would we put credit card payment solutions? You know, over here, entrepreneurs like you face challenges, you know, like the credit card processing for small business. You know, instead of entrepreneurs, maybe instead you're like going, you know, we provide credit card processes for small business.
Right.
You know, instead of as credit card service professionals, it's like, you know, as credit card, you know, we provide credit card processing for small business, and we are passionate about helping you succeed, right? So you want to kind of look throughout your copy and figure out where you can add those phrases. You know, and it doesn't mean a wholesale rewrite,
Right.
but you definitely, like, you know, like in this paragraph, you can add one, and the, you know, credit card payment solutions. You know, instead of credit card processing, honestly, it could be credit card payment solutions.
Right.
Right? Because credit card processing is too broad. So, you know, if credit card payment solutions is that could be a better, credit card processing is very general. Credit card payment solutions is more specific and is friendlier as far as Google.
Right.
We customize merchant services based on your needs and your budget. Well, what if it was we customize credit card processing for small businesses based on your needs and your budget?
Let's see.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's a slightly different way of thinking about sort of branding, I guess. Not branding, but like it's just now that I kind of have a point of reference, I'm seeing sort of how to align certain things or how I can maybe align some other things.
Yes, that's exactly right. Once you have your list of keywords, then your messaging, is just a matter of adding those kinds of keywords in so that you show up in search results so that people actually are finding you when they're looking for you.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you're going to use those keywords on every page. Like let's look at your FAQ for a minute.
Oh, so you're expanding even, you're basically like creating even more of a spread by making sure that each of these are on every single page as well. Not
right.
like every single
and
every single
like
page,
you don't have to have
sure there's a keyword. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and you don't have to have every phrase on every page.
Right.
But once you have like your 20 phrases, make sure that they're on the site.
Okay.
They don't all have to be on every page.
Right.
But like on your FAQ, you can avoid liability for credit card with EMV enabled terminals. Great. Yeah, but here's like this, it just says payment solutions.
Right.
You're going to change that to say credit card payment solutions.
Right.
Right. How's DESVA different than its competition? What's the difference? But kind of look at some of those things that people also ask. Like what are the costs of your processing and other services? Well, what were some of the things that people also ask? What are the costs for credit card or merchant services? It's like phrase these questions the way that Google is saying people also ask.
Right.
And then you can add a whole bunch more questions based on what Google are saying people are looking for. But it is good that you have an FAQ page because Google right now is really looking at FAQ pages. They're really looking for those. So that's good.
Very cool.
Very cool. All right, so your homework tonight is to do some research, find some keywords and phrases that you want to start using for DESVA, and start looking at your at the website. And like I noticed, Linda, well, no, actually, that's not right. I was going to say I noticed that Linda didn't really have a blog, but the industry updates, it looks like this is the beginning of a blog.
Yeah. Like it could be.
So the way that you would do a blog, right, is that you would write a blog post focused on just one keyword, right? You don't put all kinds of, you would do one, you would write a blog post about credit card processing for small business or small businesses, right? And that would kind of be your heading. And then you would, in your first paragraph, and we're going to talk about this more tomorrow too, you would kind of put that in a sentence, have it a couple times in the blog post, and then we'll show you how to submit that to the search engine so that they actually look for for those words and phrases from you. But if you have a blog, that is a great way to go through all of your keywords one at a time, and it can actually get much more traction and attraction to Google if you've got a blog, because that's fresher content and it's focused on one keyword.
Okay.
So that's what, when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, it looks like she was intending to have maybe a blog.
Right.
And so, you know, one of the things that I said that I was going to do for the first night was to write a blog post using a keyword. So, you know, I love to give homework. Okay, so what questions do you have?
Yeah, well, I think I will. Right now, I don't really have any, but I think as I go home tonight, or sit home tonight and sort of go through the process
Yeah.
more thoroughly, I'm sure that questions will probably come. So most likely tomorrow morning, I will come with like a small notepad of questions. But
Good.
yeah, no, I thought it was very, because like I said, I really had a good, or I feel as though I had a good grasp of keywords, like as a whole in general, but
Yep.
just sort of understanding like how do you optimize keywords, like what are the best, I love looking at or making the FAQ match the like also search section or also ask section, because it's so smart, it makes sense, that's what Google is looking at. So
Exactly. And you may
yeah,
as well give them exactly, you know, what, because they give you the information. So then it's just a matter of you applying it.
right.
You know,
So
and
yeah, I definitely will have more questions tomorrow for sure, I think.
okay. The other piece of this, sometimes you can find really cool keywords that can set you apart, is look for hashtags.
Okay.
All right. Um, and so you can just, you know, start with hashtag credit card payment solutions. You know, and so you can kind of look at, okay, there are definitely some people using it, not very many though.
Right.
You know, so there are 5 results, right? But you definitely, sometimes when you do different kinds of, let's just do credit card processing. Because again, sometimes it will give you other ideas that you can, because here's more people ask. And then the search is related to. You know, so that's just another way to get into because Google does notice that just regular credit card processing, there's 113,000 of places where the hashtag credit card processing is showing up.
Right.
So, you know, so that is just way too broad to use. But, you know, it does give you an idea maybe on some other words, some other phrases, and who is using them, right? You know, Clover obviously is, I think every search we've done, Clover has shown up. So they're definitely paying for those words, and Gravity Payments is paying quite a bit. Credit card processing.net, they're paying quite a bit. EMS payment, you know, credit card processing hashtag on Twitter, you know, you can look that up. Facebook, some people are using the credit card processing hashtag. Pinterest, you know, so the hashtag is being used. It's just a matter of, you know, So you can, some of your keyword phrases, you can also look at them. I don't know what social media platforms you may be using.
Yeah, we mostly use Facebook, so I'm definitely thinking of incorporating this, and we do post updates there, so that would be a good place to start. Also,
Yep.
look to sort of hone in on the hashtags.
Yep. Because because it can be slightly different. It can really kind of expand the words and phrases that you use.
Right.
So, okay, well, I think that is it for today.
Cool.
Tomorrow we're going to be on your website a lot more, because we're going to talk about the on-page SEO, what you could actually do on your page that will encourage Google to come.
Oh, cool. So tomorrow have some keywords and phrases?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yay, good. Well, then I will see you tomorrow at noon.
Yes. Have a
Same
good one.
time, same place.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye.
Okay.